When we wrote Devil, Jimmy was late. Anyone who knows Jimmy wouldn't be too surprised by that. I was really bummed because on that particular day, I had nothing to bring to the party. I'd shown up empty-handed, and I was really hoping that Jimmy would be there on time so he could have a riff or something. So it was just me and Vinny was setting up his drums, and I just plugged into my amp, and I was basically just setting tone and level on my amp, and I just started to play, and I played these sequence of chords, this G, A, D, C kind of thing. It was all very basic stuff. Then Vinny just immediately started playing behind me like he does. And then I have no idea where it came from, but I was inspired to play this little this kind of riff thing in A, and Vinny just played behind me this monstrous halftime beat, and before you knew it, we had half an idea for a song, and by the time Jimmy showed up and plugged in, we just kind of finished it off, and within an hour or so we had the basis for a song, and thankfully Vinny was recording all this stuff as he always did on his little Zoom recorder, and that night he sent the idea to Andy, and as usual Andy made a silk's purse out of a sow's ear, as he always does when we send him these half-baked ideas for songs, and he came back with something magnificent. So just one of those things, another day in the life of Last in Line. Like all the Last in Line songs, nothing ever really had a title on it until Andrew came in and actually sang the lyrics. Martyr was, for the longest time, Jimmy fast F sharp, or some variation thereof. It was a Jimmy being riff, it was an F sharp, and it was fast, and that's how we referred to it on the demos that went back and forth. And in fact, we'd actually recorded the track with Jeff Pilson, and that's how it was on the master, until Andrew came in and started singing and sang the lyric Martyr, and then it was like, oh, okay, that's what the song's called. So that's how it works, you know. You need to have some sort of a title to reference the song by, and that's how we went. Tempo, key, origin, Jimmy, fast, F sharp, job done.
So Star Maker came from one of those many riff-laden jam sessions we had in the making of this record. Basically, it's about, for me, it's about, heart, loyalty, and strength. It's a very sarcastic response to somebody who likes to manipulate situations, who promises you the world and doesn't deliver, and then expects you to jump through hoops in order to repay them for, the things that they didn't deliver on to you. So the chorus is definitely intended to be a sarcastic response to those type of people. It's a middle finger in the air to those who want to attach themselves to you when you're doing well in your life, and then mysteriously disappear when you're not doing well.
Burn This House Down. This song starts off with a tinny drum sound. Now I had the beat, I played the beat for Viv and Jimmy, and we started jamming on that rhythm, and we basically came up with that riff. That's the verses. It's a straight ahead rock song, kind of AC/DC-ish. The chorus is very straight ahead. And the vocals are very cool in this song. Jeff and Andy came up with some great background vocals to lift the chorus up and make it sound really big. So, very simple song, straight ahead, and it rocks. Revolution. We actually had riffs that we were jamming on, and we were trying to put together a song from those riffs, and it was a lot slower. It just wasn't happening. We had like 2 parts of the song, and that was it. And when we were rehearsing one day with Andy, he suggested a number of different ways to play it, and it was like one of them was to play it really fast. We thought, all right, well, let's just try it. Let's just make it crazy. And we started going in that direction, and we hit upon what we have now, which was in the verses having the bass just pedaling along with the drums and having the guitar doing some effects and then some chords. Now the chorus is actually the original riff we were working on, but it was at a slower tempo. We decided to try those changes at the fast tempo of the song and see how it works, and it worked great as a chorus, so we used that as the chorus. Now the guitar solo, we thought we should probably go somewhere else for the guitar solo. We had a couple other jams that had some changes in it, and we decided to use the one you hear. And Viv did a smoking solo on that one. Just incredible. Now, the very end of the song is actually the chorus of the song, but slowed down to the original tempo that we were jamming and wrote it. We just thought it would be very interesting to put it at the very end with the same chord changes.
Blame It On Me is a Jimmy Bain riff that he brought in to the rehearsal one day and put together with Vivian and Vinny. Had the idea for a Led Zeppelin Kashmir sort of riff, a lot of open space, and one of the last 2 tracks that we did, we didn't come up with enough songs for the album. We had to come up with 12, and we only came up with 10. So at the last minute, we had to come up with 2 songs, and we said, well, let's go in and we'll write 2 songs and do them quick. And this one turned out to be the longest one on the album, coming in at about 7 minutes, so not a very short song to say the least. I approached this vocally a lot different than the others. I wanted to do something a little different that was a little more in a lower register, and because the rest of the record was all just high-pitched metal type singing, and this one I really like where we went with it. It's got a very moody vibe to it, and it's my favorite song on the album.
In Flames was one of the original 4 songs that we wrote and recorded for this album. And it was actually a Vinny Appice idea. We went into the studio, we had a few riffs to kick around, and Vinny had this rhythmic idea. Dun, 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 dun. Anyone who knows Vinny knows that he doesn't play guitar. And he has no clue as to what note is what, but he'll tell you, no, higher than that, no, lower than that. So Vinny and I we engaged in this game of find the note, and we eventually found the note, which happened to be D flat. So okay, having established that the first note was D flat, then Vinny says, okay, dan 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 dan. Okay, so I kind of figured out what that was, and somehow between us we came up with this musical bed. We took it home. Vinny recorded it and sent us the MP3 that night. I took it home, and I think I had a bit of an idea for a lyric. I'm not sure why or how, and it was something about being shot down in flames. And I gave it to Andy, and my apologies, Andy, that you have to work with these half-baked ideas sometimes that guitar players give you. But anyway, all credit to Andrew Freeman. He took that nonsense, half-arsed suggestion that I gave him and came back with something that actually resembles a song. And it's always a pleasure to watch Vinny try and play guitar. His guitar playing is akin to my drumming, which is, frankly, shite. So if you knew how Last in Line records were made, you certainly wouldn't appreciate them. In any event, this song ends up being the bonus song on the album. There's no particular reason for that other than by the time we'd gone on and had the later writing sessions, we'd actually become a little bit more attuned to what it was we wanted to write. So I can think that that's the only reason why this ends up being the bonus track. It's actually a very, very interesting song in many, many ways. And if you don't agree, answers on a postcard, please, to Last in Line, care of P.O. Box, blah, 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 Los Angeles, California.
Already Dead was one of the first 4 songs we wrote for Heavy Crown. It's got a really cool fast intro and a lot of, up and down tempo changes. It goes to a cut time thing in the chorus. And I don't really think that we knew what to do with this song when we first wrote it. It really came together to be this really cool song once the lyrics got on top of it and we had a melody in the chorus. Lyrically, it kind of addresses control that fear has on you. The idea that if you have nothing to lose, there's nothing to fear.
Life will pass us by right before your eyes.
Curse the Day. Curse the Day is a song about revenge. It's about not just eye for an eye sort of vibe. It's more about, the choices you would make when you take this type of action. You try to get revenge on somebody for, something they did to you. It's trying to find out basically what's important in life. Is it more important to get revenge, or is living a good life the best revenge? Holding on to things that are important to you, like, family and happiness, as opposed to getting this fulfillment from this very negative action. This is one of the last 2 songs that we wrote for this record, and it's, one of the fastest that we put together. And I feel it's one of the most epic songs on the album. The guys in the band threw me a curveball, with the timing of the intro. I really wanted to make it special and set it up with powerful scream or vocal part that would set up the rest of the song and set the mood for it.
Orange Glow was one of the early ones, one of the first 4 songs that we wrote and recorded, which were Devil in Me, Orange Glow, Heavy Crown, and In Flames. The first writing session that we had for this record and the first recording session a few days later. Orange Glow kind of started, I must admit, I did feel I was kind of plagiarizing Thin Lizzy somewhat. It had a very Phil Lynott-esque vibe to the riff. Jimmy Bean and I are both old friends of Phil Lynott, and that seemed quite appropriate. Anyway, we just started playing and we vibed on this thing. And I had an idea for a lyric about Orange Glow because I'd always noted driving around North America playing shows since the early 1980s that every time you approach the city, you could always see it for many, many miles off. You could see this orange glow reflecting off the skyline, off the low clouds and whatnot. So it seemed particularly appropriate with Andrew, because Andrew is living in Las Vegas, and that's kind of the city in the middle of nowhere, and a very peculiar city at that. And I kind of mentioned to Andrew that the orange glow kind of, to me, represented a city in the middle of space, in the middle of nowhere, and do with it what you will. I had many other lyrical recommendations for Andrew for the song, which I'm very happy to say that he wholeheartedly dismissed and came up with his own idea for a much, much better lyric. Anyway, the title Orange Glow refers to the city, and in this particular instance, I believe it's the city of Las Vegas, and with all tips and nods of the hat to the late and great Phil Lynott.
White eyes open, black-eyed truth. How'd I end up here with everything to lose? Watch you get painted.
Heavy Crown. This song was written in one of the first writing sessions we did. At that point, we had the verse and we had the chorus. We thought it needed a pre-chorus. So I came up with the idea of let's steal the verse from the last in line and try it and see if it works. And we did, and it worked great. And we thought it was a cool idea to steal from ourselves and give the song a tie-in to something from our original roots. And that's what we did, and it sounded great. We thought the song needed an intro, the same kind of intro we were known for with Ronnie, which was a soft intro. Maybe the drums came in with it, and then we slam into the song. So we had a bunch of riffs that were hanging around that Viv wrote. So we tried the riff. We added bass and drums to it. It seemed to work well. We sent it to Andy. He wrote a great melody over it. That's the way the intro came about, and it worked the way our old songs used to work. Soft intro, slam into the song. So Andy wrote the lyrics and melodies along with help from Jeff Pilson. And in the lyrics was the words Heavy Crown. We all liked that, and we decided that would be a great title for the album. And that's the way it all happened. The Sickness. The Sickness was put together a little later on in this rehearsal schedules. But we did have the up-tempo verse and the chorus in one of the first or second rehearsals. So we recorded it to keep on file, and then later on some of the other rehearsals, we actually listened to it and we liked it. We thought we'd work on it. The intro came about. I walked into the room and Viv was playing this cool guitar lick. And I said, "What's that?" He said, "I don't know, I'm just playing." I said, "That's really cool." So we recorded it, so we didn't forget it. And then when we started working on this song, we said, let's see if this works. And we put it together, and it seemed to work very well. So we used that as the intro. So for the ending, we thought, why don't we try taking that guitar riff in the chorus and changing it around a little bit, make it go down on some of the notes, and just repeat it and go out on that, and then add a lot of instruments, kind of like a Beatles thing, to make it really big at the end, toward the end. So that's what we did. And then the song lyrics were written by Andy, melodies by Andy, and with help from Jeff Pilson, and that made it complete. There you have it.
Adventures will be